Have you ever rooted for a central couple in a horror movie? Then you are going to love House of Rain by New York Times bestselling TikTok sensation Harley LaRue. Happy endings and horror can mix after all. It's a gothic sapphic romance meets supernatural suspense, equal parts sinfully spicy and bone chilly. Salem was supposed to be on her honeymoon. Instead, she's trapped at Belfour Manor with Rain, a woman hiding secrets as dark as the house itself. This book gets 4 out of 5 peppers for bringing the heat. If you're a fan of The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager or Verity by Colleen Hoover, this must-read thriller is for you. The book just sucks you in. I swear I even caught myself looking behind my shoulder once or twice because Harley LaRue builds this tension that just lingers. You can find House of Rain by Harley LaRue wherever books are sold in print and in ebook. The gorgeous deluxe hardcover first printing is only available for a limited time, so grab yours before they are gone.
Many of you have heard us talk about Hormone Harmony by Happy Mammoth, the supplement that helps women maintain optimal hormone levels, with over 50,000 glowing reviews from women worldwide and 98% saying they recommend it to friends and family. Now you can take those results even further by pairing it with their prebiotic collagen protein, which helps restore gut lining integrity, promoting overall hormone levels. Now, I've struggled with occasional digestive issues, and since taking the prebiotic collagen protein, I've noticed a real lift in my energy and overall well-being. Happy Mammoth is dedicated to making women's lives easier. And that means using only science-backed ingredients that have been proven to work for women. They make no compromise when it comes to quality, and it shows. Right now, you can try prebiotic collagen protein and Hormone Harmony risk-free and get 15% off your entire first order with the code DATEABLE at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use the code DATEABLE for 15% off today. Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to Dateable. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
So much to talk about today. We have a good one for you all, and we're so glad to be back.
What have you all been up to? Let's have a conversation, a two-way conversation with people who can't talk back to us. I always want to ask you all, like, what are you all up to these days?
What are you doing as you're multitasking? Drop a comment for us.
Yeah, love to know. Give us a peek into your world. And you better not be sitting on the toilet. If you are, don't tell us.
We don't want to know. We don't want to know.
TMI. But yeah, we are back with a little chat about this concept of settling. And what does it even mean? There are so many words in our vocabulary that we throw around sometimes because we hear other people say them. But if I asked you, what does settling mean to you? What would be your answer?
I feel like this is so hard for me to answer because I think like what we've learned over the last decade makes it difficult, but I'll try to take myself back to when I was early dating and ignorant.
Okay. Back to ignorant Julie.
I feel like when I heard I don't want to settle, it was that like I didn't want someone that was like below me. Like I had this feeling like I had this accomplishment or I had this attribute and I didn't want to go for someone that was underneath that. Clearly my views of that word have changed. I think that just makes it sound like you're kind of like above it all. And that's not a good way to go into dating at all. But like that transparently, when I think of like, I don't want to settle, that's what I think of. Like all the most aspirational qualities of myself. I want someone that's equal or not better than those.
I probably have a similar definition. And if I were to take me back to my 20s, I would even add settling would have been being with someone without exploring who else is out there. Kind of settling for the first person or the second person who chooses you. But what if there's more and better out there?
Interesting. I think it's interesting too because Laurie Gottlieb wrote a book like The Case for Settling. And I feel like that like ruffled a lot of feathers, that like title alone. Like I remember someone posted it into our Facebook group, and they were saying that like they actually found this book super useful. And it, at the core of it, was trying to say, I think what we say a lot with the settling paradox, that you're maybe hyper focused on the wrong qualities that don't really matter. But the term of like the case for settling, it makes it feel like, oh, I'm just throwing in the towel. And I'm just going to like, I'm 35. I might as well just settle. I think that's who the book was geared for. It was like the case for settling, like dating after 35. And it was written in a different time also.
Yeah. I heard it was a really good book though.
I'm sure it is. And I'm sure the title was meant to be provocative also.
Right. Yeah. But the word has been so negative in the way we speak about it, because it is kind of like, oh, this is as good as I'm going to get, or I've given up on everything. Like, this is the best I can do. And then I also heard it used when I was watching Materialists, and someone was like, oh yeah, she settled for the poor guy. And then I was like, wait, no. That's even a different definition, because she had both choices and she chose to be with the poor one. Settling would be like, you have no other choices.
Right.
Like, this is who I'm going with, because who else is going to choose me?
I feel like when you ask people like what their biggest fear is when dating and like getting into a relationship, it's always settling. Like, I don't want to settle. And I think that's why it's hard for people to commit to people or to go on that next date when it's like not fireworks and it's lukewarm. And you know, what we've learned over the years of doing Dateable is actually core to our book, How to Be Dateable. We have the traps that people fall into when dating that are like perpetuated by modern dating culture. And one of them we call the settling paradox. And this is when you're hyper focused on these traits that you feel like you'd be like dating down if the person didn't have them, that we overcompensate on that and overlook when someone's not even treating us well, or they don't want to commit and they want to stay in a situationship. So the paradox here is that we, you know, would never not settle for the guy that's not 6'5", but then would settle if they would only call us on the weekends last minute and never want to like be in a relationship.
Right. We have these traits that we think, oh, if I got anything less than these traits, then I'm giving up. I'm throwing in the towel. When in actuality, it is all about what that relationship is like, how that person operates in that relationship, how they show up, how you show up. And that's beyond the traits that we're constantly thinking of. And I have many friends who have said, you know, I can't settle. I'm not settling for someone who doesn't have a college education. I'm not settling for someone who doesn't make this amount of money. But just like in your example, is like, I look at some of the people they ended up with, and those are some of the worst behaviors that I hope no one ever settles for. To have someone treat you like shit, to have someone deprioritize you, to have someone who is mean to you emotionally, that is settling. And that's the type of settling none of us want.
Right. And I think we actually had this episode that I'm thinking of that we talked to Allie Jackson, who's the host of Finding Mr. Height. And she talked about her almost relationships, like the string of almost relationships where they never could really get off the ground and be like that full-blown relationship. And a lot of situationships or dates that never went anywhere. And she said that for her, who had dreamer tendencies, that she used to, you know, like look at, like you hear like actions speak louder than words, but she would say that she would actually take the words and the actions, and you really need to be looking at both of them together. So like for instance, the words were, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but the action was, I'm going to like introduce you to my mom. And for her, because like common knowledge was like, look at the actions, that wasn't serving her all either. So her stance was like, actually both need to be in alignment. They need to have the words, I want to be in a relationship with you, and I'm introducing you to my mom. It can't just be like one or the other, or that's you just having like selective hearing of like what you want to hold on to.
That's a really good way of looking at it. So you have congruence in everything this person is representing in this relationship. Do you think that our parents' generation talked about settling?
No.
You think they were worried about that?
Not at all.
Why?
I think the standards of a relationship were really different. So I think that's one thing. Like, I feel like people didn't expect your partner to, like, I don't know, to be your everything and to be your best friend, to be your lover. Like, I think our expectations have risen of what we
Mm-hmm.
expect. So that's one thing. The other thing is everyone was kind of going towards the same goal back then. So you didn't find as many like situationships or people that were just like stringing you along.
Yeah. There just weren't that many options
Yeah, that's
that you
too.
knew of. Yeah. Like this one, great. This neighbor, wonderful.
You were probably more dating in your same socioeconomic social circles as
Yeah.
well. So like settling maybe didn't feel as much of a thing. And yeah, I don't know, maybe there wasn't as much. I mean, I guess there was always pressure to settle down. It just feels like dating has become like more sensationalized in the last like couple decades. That just like wasn't there as much. I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. Cooler days call for layers that last, and Quince is my go-to for quality essentials that feel cozy, look refined, and won't blow your budget. Think a Mongolian cashmere sweater for only $50, premium denim that fits like a dream, and luxe outerwear you'll wear year after year. I'm eyeing their wool coats. They look designer level but cost a fraction of the price, and the quality just as good, if not better, because Quince partners directly with top-tier ethical factories and cuts out the middleman. I recently went on quite the Quince haul, getting a tan cashmere sweater and silk skirt I plan on wearing to Thanksgiving. Find your fall staples at Quince. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable.
So I've tried a lot of things that claim to make life easier, but Knix leak-proof period underwear is one of the only brands that truly delivers. I no longer wear clunky pads or toxic tampons, and the defining moment for me was when I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, living in fear that my period would come early. And then I remembered I brought my trusty Knix period underwear, and that fear completely subsided. There's no way I could have been changing pads and tampons at 19,000 feet. So Knix, Knix, has completely changed how I feel about my period. Their leak-proof technology looks, feels, and washes like normal undies, but have a range of absorbencies for your lightest to heaviest days. Up to 6 super tampons, so you are totally covered. Plus, Knix has patented bonded edges to prevent side leaks. And with buttery soft, stretchy fabric in cuts like thong, bikini, boy short, high-rise, and more, you'll find just the right fit. So head to Knix.com and you'll see why I love Knix. Don't forget to use code DATEABLE for 20% off your order. Get leak-proof undies, amazing bras, and more. That's KNIX.com, code DATEABLE, Knix.com. So here's how I think of a main difference between our parents' generation and our generation. Is that relationships and marriage, I guess, was sort of like a socialist ideal. Like everyone's going to be married. Everyone's going to find a partner. You just like expect everyone's going to be coupled up somehow. But in a capitalistic relationship sort of world, the people with resources, the people with status, they have more options. So somehow who you end up with, your partner, shows how valuable you are. And there was this line in Materialist, not to bring it back to the movie again, but you know, that woman's crying before her wedding, and Dakota Johnson's like, what are you getting out of this relationship? And she's like, he makes me, I don't know, make my sister jealous. But Dakota Johnson's like, oh, he gives you value. Yeah. And she's like, yes, he gives me value. And I see this with so much of dating, is who I choose as my partner is a reflection of how much I'm worth. There's a little validation in it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there was always some of that. Like, I feel like trophy wives and like that stuff has been around for a long time. But it does feel like maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's like everyone. I don't know what the difference is, because it doesn't feel like it's a totally new concept to me. but it does feel like it hits differently.
I don't know if there was much, and maybe because I grew up in China, there was much of this climbing the ladder or wanting to date outside of your socioeconomic class, because there was just no way, like there was no opportunity. But now there are all these different ways of climbing the ladder, and somehow who you end up with can determine your lifestyle.
I think that was always there in our parents' generation. Maybe it's because you were in a socialist
Yeah,
place.
maybe I was in I was like in a communist,
Yeah.
it was in a communist country. And then I got served this video the other day. She asked, what if someone was able to tell how much you love yourself by looking at your partner?
That's
I was like,
crazy.
wow, that's a wild question to be asking.
By looking
There
at
is-
them, not even just like how they treat you. It's just like
by looking
yeah.
at your partner. Yeah. There's just so much like validation tied to your partner now.
Yeah.
And people don't care. I guess external people don't care that this person's good for you or good to you. It's more like, do they look like they go together?
Maybe some of this is like the age of social media too, and just like flaunting more, because I feel like in our parents' generation, maybe there was some of that, but it like was contained to your social circle, where now it's like anyone, it's public for anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. There's just, it feels like there's just more scarcity in dating.
Even though there's more options.
Although there's more options. Like, I feel like my parents were never worried about getting married. They just knew they're going to find a partner.
Because that's what people do. Yeah.
That's what people do. And there's enough people to go around for everybody to find someone. But these days, it feels scarce. Like, if I find someone that I like, I better hold on to them.
I know. That I think that is a big piece of it, the mentality. But like, why? It doesn't make sense when you think about it. Like, it's the exact opposite of how many options we have is like tenfold of our parents' generation. Yeah. I think though, if you don't want to settle, part of it, like, how do you never settle again? I mean, I think a big piece of it is, what does settling even mean? Because we, like you were saying, that example of, you know, how does this person make me look? Like, that is crazy if that's what we're thinking about, like when we choose a partner. And that's why we equate settling to all these external characteristics where people can view and judge. And really the shift is, okay, I'm settling if I'm being treated poorly, if I'm being with someone that doesn't make me happy, if I'm like, you know, pretending to be someone I'm not to like keep this person around. To me, that's really what settling is. So I think one is thinking about the actual definition. Clearly reference our book, How to Be Dateable. There's a whole chapter about it. So if you're like, what does this mean? Definitely check it out. But I think that's step one. And then the next piece is when you get clear of like what it is you will and will not stand for. How do you judge not banking on someone's potential, but actually looking at those words and actions? And are they congruent? Are they telling the story? Are you getting ahead of yourself, imagining what life could be like with someone? Because I think that's when I've settled in the sense that we're talking about, of like getting less than I deserve, is when I'm like making up this story of who this person is, or saying like, well, when work slows down, they'll give me more time, or like something that's just ridiculous, instead of being like, no, who they are today is not giving me time and energy.
Yeah. And then start taking yourself off the pedestal too. It's not about looking down on people and saying, is this person at my level?
Yeah.
It's about working towards something together with this person and determining if this is the person you want to do that with.
Right.
Settling is going for someone who doesn't want to do that with you, who you have to force to do that with you. That's settling, because they're not on this ride with you. But then we kind of like, I hear so many people say there's so many options out there. How do I know this is the best partner for me? How do I know there's not someone better fitted for me? And we have to remember, the new people, like the grass on the other side, is always going to be green at first, but you're going to run into some of the same and maybe new issues and challenges, because you're still trying to create a life with a stranger. So don't think about, oh, is there someone better out there or better suited out there? if you are with someone that you feel like treats you well, shows up for you in the relationship, how do we expand this relationship so that our needs are met? That's how you expand within, not try to expand without.
The reality too is like there could always be someone better for you, but that is like a vicious cycle that is going to keep you on a dating hamster wheel forever. Because like when do you stop at that point? Like there could always be someone quote unquote that gets you better, but like the reality is I feel like this reminds me of a conversation we did about positive intelligence back in the day, like a few seasons ago. And we were talking about like how, there's these different traits that draws us to people, and then the same things ends up annoying the shit out of us and not making us happy. But what the takeaway was if it's not that, with someone else it'd be something different. Like there's always going to be something. And I think it's easy if you're in this mentality of always looking for better, that you focus on like what might not be 100% perfect with whoever you're with, and then the next person could have that intact, but then there's something else, and that's just like a cycle that's going to keep you single forever. So at the end of the day, a big part of finding love isn't really finding the right person, it's creating and building with the right person and making them the right person. So again, we're not telling you to settle for someone that you're not happy with. We want you to be with someone that you're happy with, that you love spending time with and you're attracted to, and like all the things. It's when we get into like this like laundry list of resume builders, that's when we get into trouble, because we can't focus on like that stuff, the stuff that actually matters.
The newness, again, I'm just going to go into the newness. This is what that's like the biggest lie in dating, is when you meet someone new or when you have a side piece, that person's always going to seem better because they're exciting and they're new. And maybe your last partner didn't like to travel and you're like, I wish I found a partner who loved to travel. You start dating someone new and they love to travel. You're like, this person's so much better for me. And then they ditch you for a month and a half because they love traveling so much and you can't carry on with the relationship. That is how it always goes. So the newness of the new person you're dating or a side piece that you have is always going to seem like they're better, but it is a lie because you're just opening up another set of challenges with someone new. So if someone's willing, the current person you're dating is willing to work on the relationship with you, is willing to work on meeting your needs, is willing to talk things out, that is the perfect partner for you to be with.
Awesome. Well, I love this conversation. Hopefully this helps people reframe settling. We also recommend checking out some of the other episodes that we've done on this topic. If you're on Spotify, you can easily search settling under DATEABLE and they will all come out. But there was an episode, The Settling Paradox, where we talk about the piece in our book. Obviously, go get the book as well. And then we had the difference between being picky and having standards. I think that also gets to settling a lot also.
Yay. And we'll see you all back here next week.
Bye.
Shopify is a global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business and sell more with less effort thanks to the Shopify Magic, your AI-powered all-star. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/redcircle, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/redcircle now to grow your business no matter what stage you're in. Shopify.com/redcircle.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.